car sales community car dealer weekly. We're starting this one late, it's a Tuesday. I had nothing to do yesterday, absolutely nothing, bit of admin, so I thought, no point in filming that, is there? Got a good one on the go today. Train's just about to arrive. I'm on my way to Newcastle again. Bought a car, nice car, most expensive car I have bought to date. For sales purposes anyway. So once we get there, we'll have a little look around. Hopefully it's not too windy. I did forget to pick up my microphone, but hopefully we can have a look around it. So how things develop. When I got there, it was raining, miserable, bit windy, didn't want to film. But this is what I've just picked up. It's a 66 plate Renault Clio. It is the dynamic nav, which is basically, to my knowledge, same as the TomTom Dynamic, which I normally buy. This one is a pre-registered by the looks of it. Only previous owner was Lookers, and apparently, so I've been told, it's got the optional extra carbon kit, so it's got the bits on there. Other than that, it's not got much else. So you've got the nav with the touch screen and the Bluetooth. You've got automatic lights, automatic wipers, front electric windows, front fogs, and other little bits and pieces there. In terms of driving it back, all right, but we'll get you flipped around so we can have a proper nosy at it. So yeah, this is it. This was a grade 3, and unlike the last Clio I bought, I think this is actually a grade 3. The only things bodywork wise was, as you'll probably notice, it's cleaner than the rest of the car. This wing had gone a bit cloudy, which I've polished back, and it looks as sharp as a button. And the only other thing on it was back here. This bumper had come out of its clips somehow, but I just gave that a little love tap, and that went back into place, which is good news. In terms of prep, obviously, as you'll see, wipers don't work, so that was fun. Got back just in time. So I have already ordered a wiper motor and linkage for it. Overall, you don't need to do wheels or anything like that. It does need a service and MOT. It does have a little bit of a knock from the driver's side front, but other than that, in terms of drivability and things like that, really nice. Bits of paperwork there. It's got a bit of service history with it, but not loads. And I mean, it looks nice, it's clean enough, so it's not going to need a mad valet. I will give it a cut and polish, and we do have some really nice factory mats as well, with a nice little pattern on them, so these should come up really nice, and they're actually decent quality as well. They've got the nice textured rubber underneath, so I think they'll look sharp as well. So this thing, I don't normally talk numbers to yous, but this thing is a pricey one, obviously. Most expensive car I have bought sales wise, out the door including fees, 2197 and 40 pence. Winning bid was £1,800. Retail on it, this one will be going up for 3795, which is the recommended retail. And to me, it looks like it's worth it because it's a good reg. It's only got 103 on it, and once it's fully prepared and everything, it is going to look a decent car for somebody. It's knocking on the door of the most expensive I have ever sold. The most expensive I have ever sold was the white Polo I did at 3995. But you know, this is where you want it. I'm finding with the more expensive cars, you're getting better margins because there was a bigger gap between the trade and the retail value. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a nice mixture of the little cheapies and the more expensive stuff. I got to a point where they were all around about the same sort of price, and I felt like, you know, I needed a bit more variety. So this one, I think will be a good earner. Will be a good earner, I'm sure of it. To go along with the 500, this will actually make the 500 look a dear car, but hey ho. And then I'm going to have a couple of little cheapy Clios and things like that around, just to keep the job right. And hopefully that there will be a big benefit to the business as well. Now, I have had one of these before in that red colour. It was a previous write-off. That sold like that, very quick. But it was a very cheap car. Obviously being a previous write-off. I can't remember off the top of my head the mileage. 70 to 80 on a 15, and that was 2,995. That was incredibly cheap. Practically stole that car. That was at my old premises when there was a partnership involved, and yeah, we got that car incredibly cheap, and we actually made a good amount of money on it. So hopefully this one, being what it is, once it is tidied up and we get the rest of it looking like that wing there, nice and sparkling, it should sell really quick. That is the plan anyway. Although it has gone a little bit quiet, it's still a bit mid. You know, you're going up and down, up and down. There's nothing like, there's no consistency about it. You know, a bit like last week, it was very quiet, then all of a sudden, bang, sold 2 cars. Which was, yeah, it's just one of them. So, and basically all I've done is the money I got for them 2 cars, I basically put back into this. Excuse me, just need died there. So hopefully we can get this one sorted and get it done quick. Hope it sells well. So, thought I'd do a bit of filming because it's very quiet at the minute. Very, very quiet. A little bit disappointing, but again, not worried because, as I experienced last month, it was quiet, and then just out of nowhere, stuff happened. And the same happened last week as well, as there was nothing happening, and then all of a sudden 2 car sales came in. So I'm not overly concerned about it just yet. But as my regular viewers know, I've been there before. It's not the end of the world. Things come right eventually. You've just got to keep doing what you're doing, make sure you're doing it right, and keep your head up. Gave the Clio a machine polish yesterday. That's looking well. Forgot what I was about to say. Yeah, it's coming quite well. Kind of jumped the gun a bit with polishing it rather than getting it prepped first and then polishing it. Quite simply because I had nothing else to do, so I thought, why not? Then we've got this Clio. This is about ready to go down. I was waiting on a part, the front cross member, order that off eBay. Then that can go down to get its MOT work done. Again, not the end of the world. Pretty basic stuff. 500. The value's dropped on this a little bit disappointing, but it's the first time I've put a car up on Auto Trader listed as higher price. I was expecting it to be that anyway, but it's £488 over its market value. But when you consider that this has had £1,400 spent on it, that maybe these other ones won't have had, it's one of them. It's you've got to hope the person's kind of cares about that other than anything. But again, that is now listed up on Auto Trader. Mercedes keep on getting a little bit of interest in it. Nobody's kind of committing that final bit. I know what will probably be putting people off more than anything is the fact that I've had to state in the advert that it's booked in for a recall and the car would need to be returned to me for that recall to be done, which is just me taking it to Mercedes. So yeah, I don't know, that's probably what's putting people off a little bit, because when I originally put the advert up before I knew about the recall, I was getting phone calls on it. I'm still getting phone calls on it, but not as many. But again, I'm still confident that will go. Dacia Sandero. There seems to be a theme when it comes to selling a Dacia Sandero. And this, I'm going to try and word this correctly. but the people that tend to come and view them never seem to want to commit that extra bit. For what reason? I do not know. Dacia Sanderos are cheap cars. The people who tend to come and buy them tend to be a bit more with the money. They like try and keep hold of it, so they never like to commit that final bit. Like me, for instance, I owned a Dacia Sandero, and I'm tight with my money as well. One of the reasons why I bought it because it was cheap. It's just the way they are. It's just the sort of people that tend to be attracted to them. C1. I've reduced the price on this one. Not something I normally like to do because when I price my cars, the price kind of reflects them being prepped to a good standard, me still making a good enough profit, and if it gives me a bit of security in case anything goes wrong, so I can actually look after the customer without it kind of spoiling it a little bit, which, hey ho. But this one didn't bother me too much because when I originally sold it, I made money. When I refunded slash bought it back, uh, it was a sort of a deal where not only was I still going to be making money out of this car, but there was money to be made out of the car that I sold them. So it's one of them that if I sell that, I'm doubling up in a sense. So dropping the price down just a little bit, getting it below that £2,000 mark, kind of draws in when you're setting your your prices on Auto Trader. You kind of got that little bit extra because somebody goes 2.5, maybe it's not so much, maybe they go £2,000. Yeah, a lot of people out there looking for a £2,000 car, and I'm hoping by dropping it just below that £2,000 mark, it'll maybe draw in a few people. And then the Clio, still there. I did get a bit of backlash, shall we say. There are a couple of people lately that have been gunning for me in the old comment section. Apparently, because the aircon does not work in this 2011 car, it should be listed as a project slash spares or repairs. No, definitely not. Aircon is a convenience. It is as simple as that. All cars, if the aircon works, it's a bonus. And trust me, if I expected the aircon to work in that car, then I'd fix it. I prep my cars to a standard as to where if I was spending that sort of money, I would be happy with it. Whereas if I was going spending £2,000, I wouldn't be expecting things like the aircon to work. Maybe your windows, you know, your radio to work correctly, things like that. They're the sort of things you can expect. But aircon, no. It's just as simple as that. I also got a bit of backlash as well on my recent video for the few people that commented. Uh, Apparently, I was over generous with the BMW, and it's basically scrap, uh, which isn't the case at all. We'll pop inside for a second. So yeah, the BMW. Uh, the issue with that is quite simple. When it comes to taking in part exchanges, especially at this lower level, sometimes you do kind of have to overpay a little bit because you've got things like Webuyanycar, motorway, and things like that that just kind of drive up that price. Because yes, we all know that if you take a car like that BMW, the Webuyanycar, the £560 that they offer you isn't what you're going to get. And we all know that. But the general public don't necessarily know that. They just look and say, my car is worth £560. They don't say that they knock off £50 for an admin fee. That's before you even walk through the door. And then there's things like the dents on it, the back bumper wants painting. Yes, they'd probably just knock it down to a couple £100 at the most. But here's the thing: We Buy Any Car have, let's be fair, not a very good reputation. They only survive because they are this massive business, and upsetting a few people, they're just not bothered by it. A lot of the times when people go with a cheap car, they're just kicking on trouble. Which, let's be fair, we've done it. We've all done it. And you can't really criticise it because they call themselves We Buy Any Car. You call yourself We Buy Any Car, you're expecting the people are just going to give you any car, aren't you? But yeah, they don't have a reputation that is good. Definitely not in the trade. They have a terrible reputation in the trade. And in terms of general public, a lot of people know that they're a bit of rip-off merchant, shall we say. They'll say your car's worth X amount, and by the time you're there and out the door, they've knocked half your money off. But they will survive. They will survive because there are people with higher value cars that'll take them there rather than part exchanging them and things like that. So they survive that way. Nobody is going to really care too much when you're selling a car for, let's say, £20,000, and they go knocking a couple £100 off for paint and things like that. You're not going to miss that. It's more the cheaper cars. Yeah. But the issue I have is I can't do that. If I had, let's say that gentleman came with the BMW and I've test drove it, and all I can tell from it is that it's a bit bouncy, wants some shock absorbers, uh, a very slight clutch rattle, nothing major. The car's got 184,000 miles on it. It's got a couple of dings and things like that. I can't turn around and say to that person, I'll give you a couple £100 for your car, it's scrap. Because he'll just say, you know what, nah, not having it. That then gives me a bad reputation, it has a knock on effect. And especially in the days of social media, that could quite easily come back onto, let's say, my Facebook, my Instagram, anything like that, where people will just slate you. Even just leave a review of quite simply, went to part exchange my car, hit me with a really low price, felt like he was trying to rip me off. And then once them things start coming about and things like that, it leaves people with a bit of a sour taste in their mouth, and it's just not worth the hassle. You're better off probably paying a little bit more. So with the BMW, I gave £545. I may take a hit on that, yes, but it's not going to be too much of a hit. If anything, potentially I could make money on it because I could sort out at least the shock absorbers and sell it as spares or repairs and just say the airbag light intermittently comes on. You know what I mean? And I could probably even make myself a little bit more because I think if I was to sort out at least the back shock absorbers, because they're the ones that are bouncing you around like mad, I could potentially put it up for 850-ish sort of mark if I made it so it was like decent and did all the shockers, sort out the airbag light, try to tidy it up a little bit. I could maybe ask a bit more, but again, somebody buying that car is not going to be that bothered. Yeah, so yeah, I just felt like people were kind of, what's the word, being a bit harsh with the judgments on the BMW more than anything. But at the end of the day, that says Foster's car sales, so it's my decision to make and it's my decision to live with. It is what it is. If I don't make any money on it, it's not the end of the world. Whatever I've done the numbers, and whatever I sell that car for, basically is my profit. If I get £600 for it, I'll get 600. If I get four, I'll get four. That at the end of the day doesn't bother me. It's just, yeah, that's about it really. It's all I can say on the matter. I'm not usually one for coming on here and complaining, especially not about people in the comment section, but I just felt like I had to put my side across and share how I felt about what people were saying and how I think, realistically, they're kind of being a bit harsh towards the BMW more than anything. So, things develop. Just been and picked up this. Was messaged by a private seller. The granddad has to give up driving due to dementia, which is never a nice thing to hear. But speaking of the man, he's as sharp as a button, and he had some banter about him as well. It was great. But yeah, this lovely low mileage, only done 40,000 miles. He's been doing 500 mile a year in it. I don't even think it's done 200 miles since its last MOT. I'll have to double check. But yeah, wants a good wash and a polish. It looks like it's going to want 4 tyres. These tyres are sketchy. Don't know how well you can see there. That one's not too bad. And then we've got the one back here. That's okay-ish. Then look at this one. Look at the chasms in that. Now that scared me. And it takes some doing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this one done. It's going to be incredibly cheap. I gave good money for it. I'll be honest, I gave 750 quid for it. Retail's 2 grand. It's one of them. I wasn't going to undercut them because of the situation. I'm not that sort of person. So it does need it. It drives absolutely spot on. Brakes are a little bit scrapey, but that's not the end of the world. Once it's cleaned up and polished up and that, it'll look good, and it'll look good value as well with the mileage. So I'm just dropping it here just because it's going to get its MOT and service and all that. Probably 4 tyres, potentially disc and pads and other bits, but that is going to be some car when it's done. So we're going to finish up this week with me on a bit of a downer. It has gone quiet. I am getting people inquiring, getting people out, kicking the tyres, things like that, but nothing major. The reason why I'm down a bit is this thing. Bought this thinking this is guaranteed fucking money. Guaranteed. Put it in for its MOT. I knew it had a little bit of a running issue when it was cold, but it shouldn't have really affected it while it was getting its MOT. All it really wanted for its MOT was a wheel bearing and 2 tyres. But while it was there, the injector problem got a little bit worse. Brought on a management light. We managed to knock it off so we could get it through a test, so I could get it back here to fix it. I've put an injector in it. The management light's gone. The traction control light keeps on coming on every now and then. It's running a lot better, I will say that. A little bit diesel knocky, but nothing drastic. Like when I brought it back here, it was running lumpy, chugging a load of smoke out, whereas now it runs as sweet as a nut. It's just a little bit of a diesel knock, but it's still coming up with the same fault. So I don't know what to do. I'm borrowing a compression tester, a diesel compression tester. I'm going to give that a try, see what that says. It might say it's no good, it might say it's good, and then I'm really don't know what to do. But other than that, the car is absolutely spot on, and I mean spot on. Now it's had the wheel bearing done, drives absolutely mint, quiet as a mouse. This one is kind of at a point now where I can't really trade out of it. It's still margining to get it fixed, all being well, so hopefully I can get something done with it. But really nice car, really nice car. But do you want to know what? UK CGR, that's what they're in for the auctions. Webuyanycar strikes again. Somebody's obviously kicked it to them for a reason, and now it's down to me to fix it. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. But I'll either get it fixed or I'll take a hit on it. It's going to be one of them, innit? I could send it to auction and get it sorted. I kind of had to put it through an MOT so I could send it somewhere to get fixed potentially, but who knows? Who knows? But I have to apologise as well. I'm sorry the content has been a bit lacking. Not a lot's happened this week, unfortunately. But thank you for your support regardless. But anyway, I digress. I will catch you on the next one.